So in this video, I'm going to be giving my thoughts on the newly opened Avengers Campus at Disney California Adventure. This is a brand new land that's been 3 years in the making, located where A Bug's Land used to be, and I've gotten to go to it twice, once during the cast preview and once during the official opening weekend on a Saturday, June 5th. And so I'm going to give my thoughts about the whole land. I'm going to divide my review into a few categories. One is going to be the size and design, the other is going to be the rides there, the next category is going to be food and merchandise, and the final category will be the characters that you see. So with all that in mind, I hope you enjoy. So, as I already mentioned, Avengers Campus is at the center of DCA, where A Bug's Land used to be. What people have to keep in mind is that A Bug's Land wasn't all that big an area to begin with, so the designers had to make the most of the space that was available to them when building Avengers Campus. And while I think they did a solid job of filling the overall area with as much content as possible, the overall size of the land will no doubt be a disappointment for the guests that visit. You know, comparatively so, it's nowhere near as big or as intricate in design as Galaxy's Edge is in Disneyland. If you're just walking straight through the land, it'll take about maybe a minute and a half to get from the main entrance over to the exit by Hollywoodland. The content that is there is pretty well designed. The land opts for design of featuring various districts based on different Avengers. In total, there's 5 different districts based on Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Ant-Man, Guardians of the Galaxy, and a generic S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters sort of area. This type of design keeps the land visually interesting, although I am curious how the land would have turned out if they had stuck to a singular design of the Avengers facility that we saw at the end of Age of Ultron. But for what they did, it does look pretty good though. There's currently 2 rides at Avengers Campus. One is Web Slingers, a Spider-Man adventure. The other is Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. The former is brand new. The latter has been at the resort since 2017 when they rethemed the Tower of Terror. I'll talk about Guardians first. It's still a great ride. It's still a whole lot of fun, but it's obviously not a brand new attraction, and as a result, there's no real sort of wow factor when it comes to it being a part of Avengers Campus since we've had it since 2017. Most people's attention will be on the Spider-Man ride since that's obviously a brand new experience that no one's ever seen before. I'll talk about the good stuff first. The pre-show before the ride is actually really cool. The whole sort of intro showing Peter Parker effing up, building up these robots are attacking. It was a really cool intro. And the actual technology they use to track your movements as you're shooting webs is pretty amazing. How it's not like Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters where you need an actual shooter to hit the targets. In this, it actually just tracks your movement. So that was really cool how they did that. In terms of the bad stuff, the ride is just a glorified version of another existing attraction, Toy Story Midway Mania. In fact, it's actually shorter than that ride because there's only 3 shooting sections, each of them not that long. You can buy web shooters to actually get sort of a really high score, but I'm not really into that kind of stuff. To be honest, for sort of the long line that there is to get into this ride, the whole virtual queue system, the ride overall is pretty meh. In terms of the overall land, in terms of rides, it's meh. Guardians is still great, but that's obviously not a new attraction, so like I said, there's no wow factor when it comes to it being a part of Avengers Campus. Apparently there is supposed to be another ride that'll open during phase 2 of the land, a sort of simulator ride that puts guests in the middle of sort of the Wakanda battle that we saw in Infinity War. Whenever that ride opens, which the concept looks really cool, that'll definitely give the land some more pop ride-wise compared to what we have right now. When it comes to merchandise, the main piece of merchandise that I bought while I was there were the spider bots. These are remote spider bots from the Web Slingers ride that you can control, make go forward, backwards, side to side, all that kind of stuff. The base spider bot is $75, while you can get additional skins based on other Marvel characters like Iron Man, Black Widow, and Ant-Man for an extra $25. I got the Iron Man one because it's the one that looked the coolest to me. And the thing about these spider bots, they're kind of like the builder droids from Galaxy's Edge. These ones actually do move kind of quickly, and you can actually do battle with other spider bots. I have yet to see how that actually works, but overall these spider bots aren't too bad, and I don't regret getting one. The other thing I got while I was there was the Endgame Nano Gauntlet cup holder thing. I have the Infinity War version they had a couple of years ago, but that one was more of a sipper where you actually had to pour the drink into the gauntlet. This one is just sort of a traditional cup holder where it can hold just sort of any sort of drink, soda, beer, whatever you want to put into it. And it's really cool. The design is nice. It looks just like the one from Endgame. It actually does light up, so it look really cool in the dark. And it goes perfectly with the Infinity War version I got a few years ago. It is a little pricey. It's $35, but I definitely don't regret getting it. When it comes to all the other merchandise, I found it to be pretty bland, to be honest. You know, the theme behind the merchandise is as if you're sort of an Avengers or S.H.I.E.L.D. intern. So there's sort of like a bland Avengers or S.H.I.E.L.D. shirt, a sort of bland Avengers or S.H.I.E.L.D. backpack. But there's no like specific merchandise for any characters like Spider-Man, Captain America, or Thor. And that's pretty disappointing just because it's a Marvel land, so you want there to be like specific Marvel character merchandise, but there's no actual even like sort of Marvel store in the land. And that really sucks just because the merchandise that is there is pretty bland in my opinion. So overall, I didn't find the other merchandise to be all that impressive outside of the Spider Bot, which I do like, and the Nano Gauntlet, which I really do like. The main source for food at Avengers Campus comes from Hank Pym's Test Kitchen, and the food looks absolutely bomb. I mean, the sandwiches, the pretzels, the meals, the drinks just look like, oh man, I really want to try that. And unfortunately, I didn't get to try any of them. I went on opening weekend and it was sort of late on Saturday, and by the time I was ready to go to Hank Pym's Kitchen, they had all run out of food, no longer doing mobile orders and no longer letting people get in line. And yeah, it was really disappointing just because all this stuff, especially the sandwiches, I really wanted to try. So unfortunately, I can't comment on how good or bad the food is, but if I do get the chance, I really will be first in line to go get some. The thing I did get to try was the shawarma during cast preview, and the shawarma, even though it doesn't really look like the shawarma from the movie based on what I remember, it's pretty satisfying. It's a little sloppily put together, but overall it does hit the spot, and for the price of $7, it's definitely worth getting because it'll fill me up and didn't leave me disappointed. If you are making it a priority to try some of the food at Hank Pym's Kitchen, then do yourself a favor and do what I'm going to do next time, and that's show up super early, like for the 9 a.m. showing, just because like I said, when I went there, they were out of food. Granted, it was opening weekend, but still, it was disappointing, just because all the stuff on the menu based on the pictures did look pretty damn intriguing. One of the things that was surprisingly very impressive about Avengers Campus when I went was the amount of characters and shows that you see while you're actually in the land. You know, it is called Avengers Campus, and they really do throw a whole bunch of Avengers at you while you're actually in the land. You know, when I was there, I was able to see and get footage of Spider-Man, Ant-Man, Captain America, Black Widow, Thor, and Loki. And that's not even including the ones that are there that I didn't get to see that day, like Iron Man, Taskmaster, Captain Marvel, and sadly I was not able to see Black Panther while I was there. And overall, it's great because it really does help the campus feel alive. You know, seeing all these Avengers walking around, getting to interact with them leads to some really cool photo opportunities. I was able to take a picture with Captain America with my Infinity War gauntlet and my Endgame gauntlet, so that was a really cool picture that I was able to take there. And yeah, seeing all these photo opportunities is really cool. Even cooler though is the shows that you see. There's a whole bunch of different shows that you can see throughout the course of the day. There's a show where Black Widow is fighting Taskmaster on the S.H.I.E.L.D. building. There's sort of a Doctor Strange show over in the Doctor Strange district. I wasn't able to see either of those two, but I was able to see the Spider-Man one. It was really cool seeing that animatronic Spider-Man just like zoom all the way up into there or fly all the way up into there. So that was cool, and seeing the stunt work there. I was a little surprised just because I thought, from what I heard or thought was going to happen, was that the animatronic was going to like fly through the center of Avengers Campus, but still seeing that animatronic in action was really cool. So the characters and shows are definitely one of the highlights of Avengers Campus overall. So to sum things up, Avengers Campus has some nice building design. The actual Spider-Man ride has some neat features like the pre-show intro, and the actual web tracking technology when you shoot is really cool. The character opportunities are great. The music and score are just beautiful. I haven't touched on that yet, but the score that you hear when you're in the land is great. The food does look delicious. Unfortunately, I didn't get to try any. But unfortunately, size-wise, the land isn't all that great. The new Spider-Man ride is overall sort of a meh experience to me, just because it's a glorified version of Midway Mania, and the merchandise does need some major work. Overall, it's a solid land. It's just a little overhyped for how they're advertising it. I would give it a 7 out of 10, maybe 6.5, but it's definitely in that sort of range. Yeah, it's a solid experience. I sort of like the theming and all that stuff. Seeing the Avengers is cool. The actual land itself, though, does need a little bit of work. I think the land will definitely get a whole lot better once they eventually add another ride. You know, it's sort of like how the Rise of the Resistance definitely gave Galaxy's Edge some more pop. Another ride will definitely give this land some more pop. Hopefully it's a lot better than the Spider-Man ride. But yeah, overall as a land, I'd give give it a 7 out of 10. Solid, not great though. Definitely needs some work. But that's just my opinion on things right there. So that'll do it for my review of Avengers Campus, my thoughts on it. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you for watching.